Welcome back, guys. I don't know if you've been enjoying learning with Mr. Maina and myself. Mr. Maina, say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Remember Mr. Maina, GM Apollo Group. I think he heads asset management, right?
Yes, yeah.
Good. I've gotten it right this time around. Mr. Maina today just educated me on real estate and land banking, and let's take it from the point of, I feel as Ivy personally, me kama Ivy, are Kenyans so, I don't even know what to say. What does the word besotted mean? Are Kenyans so in love and bewitched by real estate and land banking that sometimes they also fail to see other points of investment? What are your comments on real estate and land banking, especially coming from a COVID year? What's happening?
Yeah. No, excellent question. I think real estate has been one of those, like you said.
Yeah. It's a rite of passage in Kikuyu land even.
Exactly.
Plot, I'm just like, gosh.
It's a highly aspirational, asset class whereby, from when we were kids, you listen to your uncles, your aunts, even your siblings talking about, acquiring, some real estate.
Yeah.
Just, I think the halo of pride and ownership you see there, you just feel like even me, I need to.
Yeah.
So it's instilled in all of us from a young age. Yeah. I think in terms of COVID didn't spare the real estate sector in terms of, a negative impact. Easiest bit to see there is in terms of commercial real estate space. So you're talking about office buildings, you're talking about real estate within malls, for example. When the country shut down for a period of time, when we all sort of endeavored to social distance, so we weren't going out to maybe some of these malls as much as we did pre-COVID. Organizations started working from home, so the demand for that kind of office and retail space came down.
Yeah.
And that is still happening presently, meaning we do see a situation where for the foreseeable future, if you're renting office space, it's likely that you're going to be doing at a much lower price than you are doing it pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Offices are now moving to more work from home. So do I really need, this much office space that we had before? Remember, organizations are also trying to be conservative about their cash. So I think the demand there has suffered a hit. We've seen so many instances where retail shops in a mall have had to close for various reasons. Yeah. And even now, some of the offers you'll find are, kind of incredible, right?
Yeah.
6 months free.
Yeah.
And it's all meant to try and bring people back on board because just of the COVID impact. When you come to residential, the same thing happened. Lots of job losses happened, garnished wages in terms of various sectors. So all of a sudden, you had people moving out of places where they would ordinarily have wanted to stay, looking for more affordable accommodations. Yeah. For the people, landlords and landladies who held those homes where people were moving out of, for me to get another tenant, I probably had to lower the rent that I'm charging, right?
Yeah.
Or be prepared in the alternative to stay with my place vacant for a while.
Or be even more flexible. I know in our area, for example, dogs are not allowed. There are 2 new tenants now with dogs because, you can't be refusing work, a tenant, because you can't allow them to have a pet.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So flexibility has become an issue, but the returns on that side have also come down significantly between COVID. And then finally, maybe a silver lining is the industrial side. When COVID happened, the fact that me and you, Ivy, were not going to a mall as often didn't mean that we weren't able to quickly change direction and say, okay, can I order my things online, right? So for those kind of businesses, you need a place to be able to store those goods.
Okay.
So warehousing in terms of the industrial side has probably done well for those who have, well thought through warehousing structures. Yeah. Because guys are realizing, I need to store my inventory in a place where Ivy and 100 Ivies can be able to, we can sort their orders out without delay. Wow. Right? So
never thought of that.
Industrial side might have done, well out of this COVID period. Yeah. When we come to land banking, again, that has suffered in terms of the transaction frequency, I think, right? So COVID hits all of us. We're trying to figure out the uncertainty. If I was thinking of purchasing 50 acres somewhere, maybe I say, let me hold on for a bit. maybe this price is also going to come down, right?
Yeah.
So the frequency has changed. I think, this is my personal view, but I think it's made the investment horizon on land banking a lot longer.
Okay.
Right? Because now my aspirations to sell this land at the pre-COVID prices basically have been cancelled, right? I have to also take a step back and say, okay, you know what? Maybe I can improve, the area around my land bank, put in fences, put in roads. Then I can try and make a case and say, look, guys, actually the price I'm charging you is still reasonable. If I don't want to do that, then I have nothing more to do than just sort of wait and hope that, as we recover, as the economy opens up even more, I'll be able to get some returns from my land bank as I sell out.
Okay.
As a sector being affected by COVID, I think patience is going to be necessary for anybody in that segment.
Okay.
But hopefully as we get over COVID, and I believe we will get over COVID, we'll get back to where we were before.
So would this be a good time to buy land? Because what I've come to realize about land is you don't buy land today hoping you're going to sell that plot next year. It's such a long-term investment. So we're talking 10 years even. So because pricing might be low now, would you say that this is a good time to invest in land because maybe eventually in around 10 years the economy would have recovered?
It's an excellent question again, Ivy, and I do think you're right on the money in terms of what it is, right?
Hey, the GM said I'm right on the money.
Yeah. I mean, land investment is unfortunately looked at as a very quick turnaround scenario. And sure, there might be some instances where that's the case, but really it's more of a long-term view, right, that one should take when you're looking at that particular investment. And you're right, just because of the strains, as I mentioned, in terms of demand. Lower demand for any product means the price likely comes down.
Exactly.
So just for land, if all of us are saying, let's just see how this COVID thing plays out, and the demand lowers, you would expect the prices of certain land should be much lower than it was before.
Exactly.
And that presents an opportunity. When you buy things at a low price, you give yourself a better chance of a higher return in the future. Right? If I buy similarly things that are super high price, what are the chances that I'm going to find somebody to sell at an even higher price to? Probably not that high. So I think, it's definitely an opportunity to think about, location, areas of interest, put out some feelers. We've been talking about due diligence as something we need to do. So, rather than, hearing through the grapevine, somebody called Maina said there is it doesn't hurt now to just take some time. If COVID has shown us anything, it's that, should make the most of the time we have, right?
True.
Visit that area, do your own assessment of, what the pricing is in those areas. And sure, there could be an opportunity that comes up. But again, I'll go back to what you said. A long-term view is important.
Okay. Mr. Maina, what is a mortgage?
So a mortgage is essentially a debt that you take up, typically with a bank, to enable you to invest in a real estate asset. So if I'm buying a house, wherever it is, and the house is 20 million, the idea is that if I can't raise the full 20 million of my own volition, then I can approach a bank and borrow them funds from the bank to be able to purchase that asset and then pay the bank, back on a monthly basis over the period of the mortgage. So depending on where you are, mortgages can rank anywhere from 15 years to 20. In places like the US, they can go as far as 30 years. Really, the issue is the cost of the mortgage and your ability to service it. Which also requires discipline. And I always say that if COVID was the great reset, what it's done is it's made us interrogate our lifestyles a little bit more, right? So just as an example, we spoke about residential real estate, right? If I was staying in a place which had a high rent that I needed to essentially rationalize lower, go to from let's say a 90,000 per month to a 60,000 per month, maybe even further out of town so that I get the cheaper, then it stands to reason that if I'm looking for a house, I'd probably also want to rationalize the kind of house I'm looking for. Do I get a 70 million house or do I look for something that is likely more affordable, you know, lower down the value scale, right? So that's also something very important to consider, because the ultimate value of the house will determine how much you're paying per month.
Okay.
So the more reasonable the cost of the house that you're looking at, the more likely you'll be able to stick to your payments.
Yeah.
In some cases, the more likely you'll be able to finish your mortgage quicker,
Yeah.
because I know there are some that allow for you know, accelerated payment.
Yeah.
So even if, for example, we've agreed, you know, it's 20,000, it's 40,000 a month
Yeah.
for 15 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 month I can do 80, you know,
Yeah.
double my payment rate, which
Yeah.
shortens the period. You basically get to own the house outright sooner rather than later.
Maina, you know, there are some 20-year-old men in the room, and basically how they're going to hear what you've said is you're giving them a bill for 15 to 20 years. They have a bill for 20 years. A mortgage is worth it.
I think they shouldn't be entered into lightly. I do think they are worth it in the sense of giving somebody a chance of owning a home.
Okay.
So there's some noble nature attached to them.
Okay.
I do think they are worth it from the standpoint of bringing about responsibility. Just, you know, it's usually one of the biggest things, not just in Kenya, but anywhere that anybody will invest in, you know. And once you're able to actually see through a mortgage, typically you'll find that even your own financial planning for other things tends to also fall into line. So I think they are worth considering. But again, it's good to understand the terms attached to them. You know, again, something we've been talking about, due diligence is important. Just finding out, okay, how is this mortgage offerer compared to this one? And I think in the COVID period, what has happened is terms have become a lot more flexible, right? So, you know, there's had to be a lot of loan restructuring happening. So the banks are now even more ready to work with you to help you through that process, right? So I think they're great from a nobility standpoint, given that everybody wants to own their own home.
That's true. There's a comfort. There's a sense of comfort.
And I think, you know, from even a pride and ownership perspective, you know, once you're able to literally say, this is my house, I paid back a mortgage I took. I mean, you stand proud, I think.
Your personal opinion, final question. Building versus buying?
Hard one. I think it depends on where you sit and the amount of patience you have, right? So for example, I have some friends who are, you know, very low on the patient scale, i.e. they are impatient. You know, those are people I know who would rather, you know, probably acquire something that's already up there or nearly finished. I do have other friends and family who are on the side of patience. So for them, they would rather find a location, you know, buy the land, you know, and then, you know, draw up a, you know, have plans drawn up for a home, and then put it up, right? However, that patience comes with, you know, the underlying risk. Because like I remember for one of those parties, you know, his view was that if he had to do it again, he'd probably just get a ready-made house. You know, you're dealing with contractors.
You have to be there to supervise.
You have to be there to supervise. You know, the whole remote control, kind of like it'll build itself. You'll just call and it's a bit hard, right? So I think it depends on where you fall on that particular scale. But ultimately, it's about preference. So
wow. Guys, what a nice lesson on real estate and land banking. Next time, Mr. Maina is going to talk to us about investing abroad.